Welcome to the EEE360 video for lab number 23, the diode bridge rectifier. And here's the inside of our rectifier module. Here are our AC inputs. This IC here has all 4 diodes inside. These are our 2 capacitors. These capacitors are connected in parallel to get the proper capacitance value. The switch here over to the left means that the filter is off. Over to the right, the filter is now on. We'll go ahead and do this experiment with the filter off. And those are the inputs, and here are our rectified DC outputs. For this lab, we'll be using the following components. We'll be using our power supply. We'll be using the current probe, which is attached to the dynamic signal analyzer. We'll also be using our rectifier module, which we just had a close-up of. We'll be using our oscilloscope, which attaches to these probes here. And we'll also be using our 3-phase rheostat as a load. And now the TA, Ji Cheng, is ready to make the connections for us. First, we're going to check the voltage of our variable AC power supply. So we're going to connect between A phase and neutral to monitor the voltage level of our variable AC power supply. Now we're going to connect our AC power supply into the input of our rectifier module. We'll also connect the neutral of our variable AC power supply into the other side of our input. We're going to connect our output, our positive output. We're going to connect that to one side of our 3-phase rheostat. Again, we're just using the rheostat as a load in this case. We're going to connect the other side of our output, the neutral point, to the other side of our rheostat. Now that we have that set, let's take our measurements. First, we're going to measure our input current. So we're going to connect the current probe. We're just going to connect that directly around our input. Lastly, we're going to want to look at the voltage waveform of our output. So we're going to connect our oscilloscope probes to across our output, our rectified output. And now we have all of our connections properly made. First, we're going to set our rheostat to 32 ohms. And now we're going to energize our power supply and set our voltage for 30 volts line to neutral. Now that we have that set, let's take a close look at all of our measurements. Here's a close-up of our dynamic signal analyzer. In the lower right-hand corner, we can see that we have a total harmonic distortion of 2.96%. Here's a close-up of our oscilloscope. Up here we can see our waveform. Down here we can see that our RMS value is approximately 28 volts, and our mean value is about 24.7 volts. And we're going to turn the switch and make the filter capacitor on. We can see that our waveform changes greatly when we have that filter in, so we're going to turn the filter back off. And this is our oscilloscope measurements. And now, students, it is your chance to perform this and other experiments on the rectifier module as outlined in your laboratory manual.